BPM TV, I'm Scott Willits. We're here at Amber Restaurant in beautiful Yorkville, and it's an honor to be here. I've been waiting a long time for this, and I'm going to say it, the best DJ in the world, David Guetta. How are you?
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
Nice introduction. I'm flattered.
A lot to live up to. How's your summer been? It must be like a roller coaster.
It was pretty busy, let's say. It was great, you know. It's always fantastic when you have a magic moment like this, you know. I came with that new sound with the album, and it's really, you know, I don't know, it feels like it was like right on time, you know. It's not like too much before or too much after, it's just right on time. So I've been playing all those tracks before the album was out. And it's good as a DJ, you know, to have so many like big guns that you can play that people never heard.
Yeah.
And you know, so it was amazing.
You know, it's funny that you say right on time, because I think the build up to this album I've never seen in my life. It wasn't like you were promoting the album, you were promoting tracks from the album. And each track had its own release date, and it created so much buzz about that. Talk a little bit about your mind scheme when you were thinking about this.
Well, to be totally honest, it was not meant to be like this. So there was not like such a great marketing plan. It's just, I was late. So I wanted to put the album out before summer, but some crazy stuff happened. So first I put out When Love Takes Over, and it went amazing. So I was like, okay, I gotta do the album. And on the same week, Would I Am Call Me asked me to produce tracks for the Black Eyed Peas album, and we got along so well. It was fantastic. I mean, with Kelly, amazing with him, and I was like, that's the direction I want to take for this album, you know, that really that idea of electronic music from Europe meets urban culture from America. And I was gonna put out the record, and that day I'm on stage in England for Radio 1 Festival.
Okay.
And I go off the stage and I see Akon, and Akon is like, David, finally, you know, first I was in love with Love Is Gone, this is my favorite track, and now you again with When Love Takes Over, you need to wait for me, I want to work with you. So I'm like, wow, it's super, you know? So I was waiting for him. The album was supposed to be finished, and he got off the stage, and we're like, okay, come on, let's go to the studio together and, you know, see what's gonna happen. So we went to the studio together on the same night. He was leaving to America the day after. And on that very same night, we met Sexy Bitch. So I called my record company. I'm like, stop everything. You know, I have this track. It's a monster track, you know. You need to wait for that. And like, David, are you crazy? We cannot change the schedule. I'm like, I don't care. We changed the schedule. I want that track in the album.
It had to be on the album. Yeah.
So that's the story. And this is why we pushed the release of the album. And this is why, you know, I had like 3 number 1 records, single, like When Love Takes Over, I Got a Feeling, with the Black Eyed Peas, but it's also in the album, and Sexy Bitch before the album was released. Mm-hmm. So, as you said, it looks like, wow, it looked like a genius plan, but it's just that I was late.
It all just kind of random events that all happened at the right moment.
Exactly.
We're talking about One Love right now, and actually One Love is my favorite track on the album.
Oh, okay.
It's got a very urban feel, like you were kind of talking. You got Kid Cudi, Will I Am. Talk about being in the studio with all these different kinds of artists. Where do you fit in, almost?
Well, listen, it's been an incredible experience, because I was coming. It's not like I'm trying to be hip hop.
Yeah.
It's more like they're coming into my world. So, because I think it's very weird right now, because after this album, I've got lots of hip hop artists that are calling me to produce, and I was never trying to be a hip hop producer. So it's kind of strange for me, because the concept of this album is really all those geniuses from the urban world coming into the electro world.
Yeah.
So really, I was doing my thing, and they were doing their thing, you know, and it was just like the best of both worlds together. Mm-hmm. And it's like 1 + 1 is 3. You know, we made something bigger because we were together, because the kind of idea that I come with they wouldn't come with, and what they bring I could never bring. So it was just that, and we were so enthusiastic in the studio. We were like kids. Like I remember that first day with will.i.am. First, I was shaking because I usually work in home studios.
You were shaking. I'm sure he was shaking.
Like my legs were like, because I come to that studio and I was not used to work in a real huge studio like this. I work with my laptop on tour. I work in little studios, but in all a second I was in that legendary studio in Los Angeles, and the Black Eyed Peas are there, and this huge SSL board. I'm like, I don't even know if I can use this, So I was really nervous and impressed, and everybody was coming to say hello in the studio. Puffy came, and Busta Rhymes came, and Pharrell Williams was there. Everybody was, and I'm like, oh my God.
And it's all eyes on you, right?
Yeah, my first day in the studio was them. It was too much pressure, but it went really well. And after that, we kind of stayed after hour and worked on my tracks, and we had so much fun. It was really exciting, and we were like jumping around in the studio and dancing. We were like having a party there, you know. And this is why all those other artists were coming to hang out, because it was just, we were having fun, And I think that because we had so much fun
in the studio,
people
resonated.
are having fun listening to it, because it was very much of a moment of musical freedom. We didn't stay in our boxes. We really we were trying things, and we're like, wow, we're making the music of tomorrow. This is so exciting. And speaking with Will, how we gonna call this? Okay, we're gonna call it electro hop. That moment where you like, wow, we got something.
You're like
different.
creating a genre almost.
Yeah, exactly. We were like, I'm not the only one to go into that direction, but a whole album like this, I think it was something pretty